March 15th, 12:07 a.m. The air from Neutral is sloppy.
Is he ever gonna get some sleep?
So now we know who the Altagrass really was. And yet there remains much to this case that needs to be resolved. Like how the weapons cross country lines, for example. Is the two countries have incredibly strict security systems and entry procedures?
My name is Kay Faraday and I'm coming through! Welcome in! And that's very strict.
Shut up, a miracle. It's impossible for someone to have smuggled them in. Smuggling them in, huh? We will need to open a new line of investigation on just this aspect alone.
Shouldn't that be K6?
Before we do, I would like to go through my evidence once more. Okay, unnecessary evidence has been removed. Remaining evidence has been rearranged. Hey, there's a VCR here, sir!
Alright, what do we actually have now? Okay, those make sense. Makes sense. Okay. I still don't know what these are for, though they likely are somehow related to these things now.
Oh, very likely.
Now we can see what's on that tape Detective Bad gave us.
This piece of evidence from the KG8 incident, hidden from sight for 10 long years. I just know that this is related to the current case somehow. Detective Gumshoe, if you could please play the tape for us.
Sure thing, sir.
Yay. Move, Jewel. Oh no, not this sound.
Damn.
I've been hearing it recently.
This man, it's Manny Cochin.
Wow, that's totally not an obvious look. And he's holding a knife in his hand.
This looks like footage from a security camera at the entrance of an apartment building.
How could you tell it's an apartment building?
Yeah, I'm curious about that too. An apartment building. How do you figure that? Okay, same line of thought.
Thank you.
Unlike you, I actually read the summary file on the KT8 incident. And the crime scene was the victim's own apartment. This footage was shot at the entrance to the victim's own apartment building. At the trial, Mr. Faraday claims that this piece of footage existed. However, no one could find it. Yes, somehow someone was able to steal it and hide it from Mr. Ernest Amano. I can see how this would have been why can't I say that word today? This would have been a definitive piece on why someone would want to hide it.
It's a piece of evidence from a 10-year-old case. There's no way it's related to this case we're working on now, sir.
Ah, but that's where you're wrong, Gumshoe.
Actually, I believe it has everything to do with the case we're working on now. The ringleader even went so far as to use Mr. Portsman to retrieve it. Which means that in this video lies a very inconvenient bit of footage to the ringleader.
Where?
Wait, what was that?
Huh?
That bit you played just now. Please show it to me again.
Oh, that was not the bit that it showed us.
Huh. This car. This is something we cannot overlook.
No, we can't.
Someone with wavy hair inside the, that's probably just coaching, to be honest. It's the other figure next.
I don't think that's the important part.
Why is that, sir?
Look here, Detective Gumshoe.
What do you think?
The number plate?
Because I have No, I don't think we have a good enough view of that. But remember, Manny works...
For someone else.
For...
Someone who's...
No, but who did he work for at this time?
The country, Cordobia?
Uh-huh.
And you can see the flag.
And do you not recognize something on the car that is probably related to Cordobia?
Yeah, the flag of Cordobia, obviously.
Which means most cars wouldn't have this unless they're like a diplomat or an ambassador's car.
That's true.
Like if you're gonna have one of these flags, it'd be somewhere else. It wouldn't be like this on both sides.
Oh yeah. That's clear indicator it's an ambassador's car. This is the national flag of the Principality of Cordobia. And because it has the national flag on it, we know this to be an official government car. But the question we should be asking ourselves is, what was the government car doing there? Oh, Miss von Kammer and Mr. Edgeworth, so you were here all this time.
Yeah, nobody knows how to sleep in this place.
Ambassador Alba? Thank you very much for continuing the investigation, even at this time of night.
He is so evil.
Oh, he turned it. If only I was a tiny bit more careful.
Yep, definitely evil.
This tragedy would never have happened. I am truly sorry.
100% evil.
This wasn't your fault, sir. This has nothing to do with how careful you were.
Nope, this is certainly his fault. He's evil.
You idiot, Quirkus! You couldn't chase after the simple thief.
Yep, he's blaming himself too much. He's evil.
Now then, let's get down to the real reason why I came looking for the two of you. I would like you to put the investigation on hold for a while. Can you do that? Excuse me? I heard you have apprehended the thief that turned this embassy upside down. And we are in the middle of an event celebrating our country's reconciliation. We can't exactly have the police and detectives walking around here forever. You're scaring the visitors away. So I hope that you can understand how I feel.
How many people are visiting at midnight?
We must finish our investigation and resolve the remaining issues. Why don't we leave the rest to the Alabastian and Babelisa police?
Because you're all corrupt.
Ambassador, we are so close. Just a little more and Mr. von Karma. I'm afraid I have made up my mind. And without my permission, you can't proceed with your investigation. Anyway, right? That's true, however, as you said at the very beginning, this area can be considered to be Alabastian soil, in which case we are nothing but foreigners in their land. Is this really where our investigation ends?
Shifu, we found Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Shifu, this way!
Yo! My leg healed like quick!
Agent Lang, you're back on the scene rather quickly.
If I laid back and took a break, I'd lose the scent of my prey, Mr. Prosecutor. A bullet to the leg is nothing.
Agent Lang, why in the have you returned?
Because I have to solve this case, no matter what.
Well, I'm sorry to inform you, don't take this the wrong way. I don't suspect you personally. However, a member of Interpol was just found to be a thief, and so, under these circumstances, I wish to put your investigation on hold. After all, I believe our own police can handle things from here. They are quite capable. It is strange how investigation really will come to a close.
Ambassador Alba, I get it now. I really do.
Oh, I am very glad that you understand how I feel.
No, not that. What I was talking about is... I know who the killer is behind tonight's murder.
You...
No?
Duh. Killer? Do you really mean that, Agent Langer?
Heh, wolves don't lie.
Unless they're wrong. Then who is it?
Well, let me first say that I'm not talking about Mr. Cochin's murder. That was all Sheena. Langshi says, the truth lies not at the exit, but rather shines outside the maze itself. The truth is unexpectedly simple. So let me ask you this. Who do you think was Damascus II's killer? I'll tell you who. It was you, Francisca von Karma! What?
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 I was the killer?
Hey, wait! But that's impossible!
Yeah! Although that whip is actually quite... Yo!
Hold your tongue and that ludicrous remark you were about to make. Agent Lang, are you seriously accusing her of murder?
Yeah, I am.
He doesn't appear to be joking.
Hey, sis! I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech, he called you into his office, right?
Yes, he did. But what does that have to do with anything?
I'm getting to that. Furthermore, in order to solve both cases, You moved around rather freely between Alabas and Babel, did you not?
Objection!
And where is your evidence that I am the killer?
I was just getting to that. Trust me. I'll show them to you in due time. Ambassador Alba, in order for me to bring this case to a close, I'll need to inspect your office one more time. Will you grant me permission?
With things as they are, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I?
So, he's either actually serious about this, or this is literally just a joke.
I get it.
Not a joke, a ploy to keep it going and get access to his office.
I suspect Lang is doing this as a ploy.
I think so. This just seems too absurd. Good, then let's move out. Oh, and don't even think about running away, sis. My pack will be keeping a close eye on you. You can bet your bottom dollar on that.
As if I would have any reason to flee. But just so we are clear, your logic had better be sound. Because I'll accept nothing short of a perfect explanation. She seems rather upset. Not that I blame her.
I expected you'd accept no less. But we'll see how long you can keep that nose of yours stuck up in the air like that. I really hope it's a ploy and he's just not this stupid.
Agent Lang, as someone related to tonight's case, I request that you allow me to take part, and so that I may clean up my superior's mess.
Huh. I guess I should. The more the merrier, especially when it's the peanut gallery. Oh, in that case, I'll have to join in too. I still haven't seen what it looks like in Alabas yet.
If you let Kay in, then you're gonna let me in too, pal. I can't sit around and do nothing when Miss Von Karma's in trouble.
Hey, Gummy! Let's have a competition to see who can save her first, okay?
Okay, I'll take you up on that.
Oh my god, these two.
Oh yeah, I'm fired up and rearing to go.
As a detective, I don't believe this is something you're supposed to be excited over.
Sounds like this is going to get real interesting. Ambassador Alba, I'll be bringing these kids along for the ride.
Very well. But I'd like you to keep in mind that this will be your last chance.
Huh. I'll have this whole mess cleaned up before you know it. Now, let's go. I really hope it's a ploy.
Oh, I 100% expect this to just be a
It
ploy.
has to be. Because he's been around her too much to think she would actually be the killer.
In the ambassador's office.
Okay, now, let's first go over the facts one more time. Manny Cochin's body was found over in the Secretariat's office in Babel. The weapon that took his life was one of Alabas' ornamental knives. And then, the body of Damask II, Mr. Kashi Now, was found here in the Alabastian ambassador's office. Through our investigation, we found that the murder weapon was this Primaduck statue. And that this is actually Babel's statue. This case, no matter how I look at it. Sis, if it wasn't you, then there's no one else who could have pulled this off.
Objection!
Agent Lang, do you understand the full implications of what you are saying?
Of course I do, sis! And I'm serious. You were on the trail of the smuggling ring, and you wanted any evidence you could find. And so, while people were distracted by the Yatagrass's appearance, you snuck in here. That's when you two ran into each other. You and that other thief who took advantage of the confusion from the fire.
Objection!
Even if all that were true, how do you explain the movement of the weapons?
Huh. Don't worry, I plan to show that you're the culprit behind that too. You had permission to investigate both embassies at will. Wow, her animation is really sped up.
Oh yeah, she's angry.
She's angry. With that kind of free reign, you could have easily taken the weapons across country lines. Holy
Oh
shit!
yeah, she grabbed the whip!
He caught it!
Wow, okay!
Hey now! Look, sis, I thought I already told you. I'm not messing around here. This case isn't directly tied to the smuggling ring, but Sheena certainly is tied to that smuggling ring.
He's right in saying that she's a member of the smuggling ring. However, the connection between this case and the ring will not be deeper than what any of us can imagine. Let's get this ridiculous circus over with already!
No, but I like the circus. It was the best case in the entire first trilogy.
Francesca, you need to calm down, because you only know the facts of the Alabastrian side of the case. I don't believe you can see the case as a whole, and therefore solve it. What? But don't worry, I'm taking this seriously as well, and I will prove your innocence.
That's the only way to be, Mr. Prosecutor. But can you come up with anything else that can top my hypothesis? Of course, your explanation has to solve the mystery of the moving weapons as well.
Of course, and I will. Let's now delve into the truth behind the murder of Dimas II. You do understand, don't you, Miles Edgeworth? This isn't just a confrontation against Agent Lang. If you can't figure out how the murder of Dimas II is related to the smuggling ring, then it will mean the end of our investigation.
Oh no.
As long as I have no good counter-argument to his hypothesis, then the best I can do is walk this thin tightrope and see what I can do.
Come on, Mr. Prosecutor. Let's get started.
Yes, let's.
This case is still way too long.
Border-crossing weapons.
One of Alabast's knives was used in Babel to murder Mr. Cochin. And the murder weapon in the killing of Damas II is Babel's Primaduck statue. Somehow, these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security. The only one who traversed the two countries just before and after the crimes was you.
So as long as I can't explain how the weapons moved about, Francisca will remain a suspect.
You got it, Mr. Prosecutor. So why don't you stop giving me a hard time? Under these circumstances, who the heck can carry a weapon across country lines? I worked through every possibility. But there's only one that's plausible. Your boss.
Agent Lang, what I've learned from you just now is that you've lost sight of yourself.
Maybe this isn't a ploy. And he's just been betrayed by Sheena, so he can't even trust anyone.
Oh, that could be. It might have just destroyed him.
Yeah. Plus he's shot, so pain. Well, what are you talking about?
By focusing too intently on that which is in front of us, we become blind to the truth. Don't tell me Lang Shi never said anything to that effect.
You prosecutor. Who do you think you are, speaking about Lang Shi's proverbs like that?
I don't need his proverbs. Because of my words, all you will need to see the truth.
Yay.
Alright.
Okay, so I know we're gonna have to press. Do we have anything that really tells us anything about getting across country lines? Oh, Alabast makes Cadopian paper.
Ah.
So, Alabast makes the paper, Babel makes the ink.
Yeah.
And the secret kingdom of Cadopia or whatever makes the fake bills.
Yay.
Yes, we know it was carried across country lines. The question is how?
Yeah.
And how do you get this statue across country lines?
I still think that was the thing we saw flying. Or at least if we have a picture of flying.
That would be kind of funny, which would be this thing.
Yeah. I don't think we need to show that here, because I don't think we can show anything for this first part.
Yeah.
Hold it!
I concur that this knife crossed over country lines.
Good, but that's not the only thing that did. We mustn't forget about the other weapon. The knife was the only one.
A knife was only one.
Oh, it was only one. Then I just misread it. Boo.
Hold it!
So you're saying that the Primadoc statue was also brought over by Francisca?
Like I told you before, that's the only way it makes sense.
Hold it!
And how exactly did she bring it over?
I haven't figured that out yet.
That's about a weak statement, considering how sure you are.
Maybe, but there is one thing I do know for sure. They were able to penetrate, yeah, we know.
Hold it!
Impenetrable? I should hardly think so.
Knuckle back!
You've seen the top of the wall between the two countries, right? Who in the world could cross over that? Yeah, not even I could climb over that thing with all that barbed wire. The only way into either embassy is through the doors of the Theatrum Neutralis. That's the literal only way. So the only way for that knife and the Primadoc statue to traverse the two countries is through those security camera-equipped, well-guarded doors.
Not really. Because I see that tree branch right behind him. Because I believe that that tree branch was connected with wire to Babal.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised.
Was Francisca really the only person to have traveled between the two countries?
According to the guards at both doors, she is the only one to go back and forth. The sis there was in Alabast when the Yatagarasu showed. And then, just before you guys found Mr. Cochin's body, she entered Babel. I think we can assume that's when she brought the knife into Babel. I keep changing how I say it, and it's great.
I think it's pronounced Babal.
I'm going to call it Babel.
And how do you explain the Primadoc statue?
I haven't quite figured that out yet. However, The fact that the two weapons crossed the border proves that the killer must have also traveled across the country lines.
The only things to cross the border are the Propably statue and the knife. I should hardly think that those are the only two items. Agent Lang? The handle crossed.
But do we have just the separate handle?
I'm not sure.
And also, technically speaking, the Steel Samurai also crossed. Just saying.
Yeah.
I thought we have any proof of that. What would it be?
Wait, the real one.
Yeah?
The real one would also have had to cross the real statue. Because the statues would have had to replace each other.
So this one then.
I think so. Objection! Because the statues had to be swapped.
True.
Agent Lang, those two items are not the only two to cross the border tonight.
Oh?
The Master Second was killed by Babal's Propably statue, yes. But if that's the case, then tell me, where did Alabast's Propably statue go?
To Babel.
Precisely. If the two statues really were switched, then this means that both statues are smuggled across the border at some point. Which means that a total of 3 items were smuggled across the embassies.
Huh. I guess so. But you know what? It doesn't matter the number of items, only that the sis is the only who could have done it. Because the only person who went back and forth between Alabast and Babel is her. No. That's not true.
Is that really true? Was there no one else who traveled between the two countries? Actually, there was definitely another person. One who paid a visit to both sides of the wall.
Oh, I was thinking the Steel Samurai.
Is that really so, Agent Lang?
What a lousy time to try and bluff your way out of this. I checked out what the god said, along with the security camera's footage. You're not going to overturn my hypothesis that easily.
Objection! But I suppose there was some other way than through the theater doors.
What other way?
You're an entity that managed to cross the border unharmed. I pointed out it would open up a whole new possibility. And though I hesitate to bring this out, as long as this entity exists, the impossible road becomes a possibility.
It looks like you've got some clever idea in mind.
I do, and I can show it to you through a single piece of evidence.
Fine then. Let's see this piece of evidence that will show me this other route.
This piece of evidence shows another way to move between the two countries. Above?
This?
Yeah?
Really? We're going with flight?
Only for anything I can think of. Take that! Agent Lang, I'm sure you're familiar with this unforgettable photo.
The third case where somebody flies. That supernatural photo, like I said before. Humans can't fly.
No, of course not. I understand that perfectly well.
And don't start claiming that Sheena somehow grew wings either. She's certainly no angel.
I wouldn't dream of claiming that.
And I won't allow you to take back what you've said either. I'll say it again. It's not humanly possible to fly through the air without wings. It depends how you define flight.
Yeah?
Because if you define flight as just going from point A to point B in the air, yes, it is perfectly possible for humans to fly through the air without wings. I mean, I went from point A to point B with a parachute.
Yeah? Yeah, you're right. You
Technically, I flew.
Yeah, you've done parachute gliding, haven't you?
Skydiving, yes.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
So you'd better have a good explanation for this, Mr. Prosecutor.
But how can I prove who it was that flew through the air and that's in this photo? Wait, not humanly possible.
It was Missile!
Eureka! Very well, you'll have your explanation.
Did we figure something out? It sounds like you've had a good idea simmering inside that head of yours. Let's hear it. The face hidden within the photo's blurry trailed shadow is...
The Propably statue.
Which one?
The real one.
Hold on. This is flying towards Alabast.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it'd be Babel's.
Yes, it would be Babel's then. Take that! Apparently not. This is the face behind the shadow.
I thought I said that you'd better have a good explanation. I can't make heads or tails of what you're trying to say with that.
Was I wrong?
Come on, hurry up and show me what that shadow that's flying through the air is.
Even had you not barked at me, I would gladly done so, Agent Lang. Let's go in one more time. Man-shaped shadow that flew through the air, wrapped in darkness of the night. It's the real shit that can only be this one thing.
Blah, blah, blah.
So it's the other statue? As I said, man-shaped? Take that! Yeah, we just picked the wrong statue. That was the problem.
That is so fucking stupid.
Naturally, the shadow is the third smuggled object, the Propably statue replica.
You can't be serious.
The Atakarasu, alright, Callisto Yu, dressed as Agent Sheena, was inside Babal. She dressed the replica statue up in clothes and launched it through the air.
How? Ha! Mr. Prosecutor! You left out a very crucial bit in your explanation.
I know I did.
She launched it through the air. Ha! And then how exactly did she do that? Why is he talking like that?
I have no idea. He's literally baring his fangs at me.
Oh, I guess he's kind of growling?
I guess so. But he has a point. How exactly did it move through the air like that? As long as this remains unsolved, we won't be able to move any closer to the truth. Which reminds me, didn't you say this earlier?
Hey, sis, I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech. He called you into his office, right?
Just before the murder, Francesca was called here, right into this very room. If that's the case, then there may be another avenue I can pursue. Agent Lang, in order for you to answer that question, I will need to hear the testimony from Miss Von Karma.
Oh? What are you up to now, pretty boy?
Earlier you mentioned something of interest to me. You said that just before the murder occurred, Miss Von Karma had been in this room because Ambassador Alba had called for her. And for that reason alone, you believe her to be the killer.
Yeah, I guess I did say something like that.
In that case, I believe it's my duty to ask her what her side of the story is.
Ha! Do you really think a criminal would tell us the honest truth?
How dare you! As I've said numerous times, there's absolutely no proof that I am the killer. Miles Edgeworth, don't tell me you suspect me too! I don't. However, I can't ignore the fact that you were in this room at one point in time. Which is why I would like to hear about it from you.
I mean, we know she's not a killer. If she was gonna kill anyone, it'd be Phoenix, and he's alive.
Yeah, although she has whipped him quite a bit.
If whipping somebody is all it took, half of the male characters in this series would be dead or something.
Yeah, that's true. Francesca, I feel that I still don't have enough information, which is why your testimony is incredibly important to the outcome of this case. Alright. So, what would you like me to talk about? I'd like you to please testify to your movements up until you came into this room.
Huh. Alright, let's try this your way for a change. But if what she has to say turns out to be a waste of time, I'll place her under arrest faster than you can howl no!
As you wish. Okay. Movements in Alabast.
This is just weird. I'm so confused.
As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in Sebastian Embassy. After I saw the Steel Samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office, I returned to the Gross Garden for a bit, taking up on the security station. Or security situation. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office. Francesca, I want us to make this clear from the very beginning. So what I wish to confirm is that the only time span in which you were in this office was before the murder occurred, is that correct? Yes, of course. I see. But now the only way I can see for us to break out of this situation is to ask Francesca about her testimony in more detail, so basically pressing.
Yeah.
Okay, I suppose we'll start pressing.
Yeah.
Hold it!
I thought your duty was to fact-find anything you could about the smuggling ring. Yes, that was my job. But upon hearing that the Yate Grasso had sent a calling card to the embassy, Ambassador Alba called upon us to protect the embassy instead. That incident 7 years ago. Or have you forgotten what happened here back then? Anything related to that case we were involved in appears to be rather painful for her. It's not exactly one I can readily forget myself. Looks like you remember the case after all. Of course I do. I inspected every location, every possible escape route, and every aspect of the police security detail. I did all that, then after that...
Hold it!
So you were at the theater as well? Yes, and I suppose you were also there as well. Watching that stage show? Well, yes. Oh, Francesca was there. After the show was over, I saw the Steel Samurai off.
Hold it!
Why did you need to confirm the degree of the preparation for even the speech? For security's sake, of course. What other reason could I have had? No one knew just how the Yate Grasso had planned on getting in, right? Yes, I suppose you're right. And in the end, the Yate Grasso did choose to appear in the Rose Garden. Even if it did turn out to be nothing more than a shadow. Who would have thought that she would use a shadow? Calm down, Francisca.
Wow.
You'll still be nursing a grudge over the fact that she couldn't figure it out herself. Anyway, there was no one in the Rose Garden, and we were aware the speech was to start soon thereafter.
Hold it!
At that time, the Master Second's body had yet to be found in this room, is that correct? That's right. But Ambassador Alba was here. One could hardly miss his rather large presence.
Huh, a criminal will say anything to get out of getting arrested. How do we know you're not lying?
Well, if you need proof, I'd be happy to oblige you.
Seriously?
Like I keep telling you, when I arrived at his office, Ambassador Alba was already here. He was standing by the flower box on the windowsill, watering his flowers. I can attest to that. I remember speaking with the lovely lady around the time here in my office.
Alright then. Add that statement to your testimony and let's hear some details.
Ambassador Alba was in this room at the time, was he? When I arrived, Ambassador Alba was watering the flowers on the windowsill.
Hold it!
For the sake of being thorough, I'd like to ask you something. How did you know that Ambassador Alba was watering his plants at the windowsill? What do you mean by that? The entrance to this room is on this side, where the window is on the opposite side. If you saw what you saw is true, then you entered the room, his body would have been like a wall. He would have been blocking your view of what he was doing, isn't that correct? I suppose it was a bit hard to see around him, but fortunately for me, Ambassador Alba is not an immovable wall. I knocked before I entered. As I did, he turned around to greet me, with a watering can in his hand. So it's only natural to believe that he was watering his plants, right? I suppose. After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He had obtained them himself and is growing them with the utmost care, you know? Yes, the plants in this room, they're all like my children. The passion flowers in the flower box and the windowsill are growing beautifully too. All 4 of them are in full bloom. 4? There's 2. It's from Karma. What did you say now? I said that the flowers are growing beautifully. What about the statement? Do you not understand? I do not understand. I do not understand why a certain thing is the way it is. I'd like for you to append a statement of your testimony. To your testimony. Very well. There were 4 large passion flowers in full bloom in the flower box. And that's the contradiction. That's the something too.
Yeah.
Objection!
Francesca, for some odd reason, your testimony contradicts with this piece of evidence. It does appear that way.
Ha! I knew it! I knew we couldn't trust your words, sis! Hey, Mr. Edgeworth! What are you doing discrediting Miss Von Karma like this?
Yes, sir! If you keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir!
All I've done is state what I saw. I have not made a single mistake in my testimony. It is perfect, and for this, I am still under suspicion of for murder. Is the number of flowers really all that important at this juncture, Miles? At the very least, it is a contradiction in this enigmatic case. One that I find hard to dismiss as irrelevant.
Ha! Then let's hear it, Mr. Prosecutor. What does the number of flowers have to do with anything? What does it prove?
I believe the answer to that will become clear if we examine the flower box. Or where to examine it. How does contradiction come about? There must be something behind this discrepancy. They are my beloved flowers. I've grown them with my utmost care. So I ask that you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edgeworth. I understand.
But of course.
One more until they spend every nook and cranny. Those pins look familiar. This patch of soil looks as though it has been something removed from it.
Ha! What are you doing, Mr. Prosecutor? Why'd you clam up all of a sudden? I'm still here, waiting for an explanation, you know.
You know, Agent Lang, the flowers are best appreciated in the silence. Looks like 2 things were pulled out from this flower box, and we know exactly what it is.
Yeah. So do we have to examine other things?
I guess so. The name of these flowers, I believe they're called passion flowers, and named after the Passion of Christ. Despite being called flowers, they are actually a species of vine, yeah. They appear to be growing well, and are well supported by these plant supports.
Yeah, but no matter how I look at it, it looks like there are only 2 here to me. You realize, don't you, sis? Your little lie has failed you.
Miles Edgeworth, hurry up and shut this man up for me already. I suppose I will need to use some evidence to shut him up, won't I? Yeah, show the evidence.
May as well, because you mentioned the little chopstick things.
I believe I have just a piece of evidence you require.
Oh, you do you? You have such confidence in the face of your current plight, but I highly doubt it'll last until the end.
You howl like a wolf, Agent Lang. But we'll see if you have any bites to back up that bark. Back up that bark after you see the evidence. So many bees. The truth of the passion flowers revealed can be seen in this piece of evidence. There they are. They aren't actually hair sticks. They're plant supports. The Sheena, who was supposed to be Baal the entire time, had these hair sticks on her that look exactly like the plant supports in this flower box. In other words, I believe it can be said that these hair sticks are in actuality support sticks for the passion flowers.
Ha! And so what? Is this really all that important to the case?
Of course it is. It means that we found yet another item that was smuggled between the countries tonight.
Hiya!
Think about it logically, Agent Lang. These sticks were originally in Alabast, but somehow they wound up in Sheena's hands, who was in Babal the whole night. So make no mistake, these sticks were smuggled somehow, just like the knife and the statue.
Very well then. I want to hear from you exactly how they wound up in Babel.
How did these support sticks find their way to Babal, and why? There must be some reason as to why they ended up there. Aha! So that's why. Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this and tell me its shape.
It's just another stick, isn't it?
And so it is. But the shape of the support sticks is what is important. When they are used with the summoning in this room, that's when a call comes into focus. The crossbow. They look like bolts.
Oh my god.
They look like bolts.
Eureka!
That's a crossbow! Wait, you're not really suggesting.
I am. These hair sticks, or rather, plant support sticks, they make for perfect arrows, or in this case, bolts.
Hiya!
I've done it. I found a common thread that connects the two offices. But this thread has yet to be completely untangled. Even using the arrows, how does this explain how the statues were transported? And again, I will have to reiterate, these are bolts, not arrows. Furthermore, who could have fired these sticks as bolts?
Just leave it. Edgeworth is clearly not an expert on medieval tech.
There must be a common thread in all these that ties all of these things together.
Knuckle back!
Mr. Prosecutor, hold up a second. You do realize what happens when you tie a statue to an arrow, right? They don't fly at all.